Welcome to our series on birth education from preconception
Mhm.
all the way to birth.
Yes.
So Dr. Christine, why are we here?
Well, we're here because throughout practice, I have seen an alarming increase in struggles with hormonal health in both men and women, and also fertility struggles. Those have been increasing by 1% each year, which means we have a huge problem with the health of our entire society, the health of our hormones, and our state of fertility. And here's the truth, we know it can change, and we know the way to heal bodies and change. So this is not going to be a conversation on the alternatives. It's going to be a conversation on how to heal your body, because healthy bodies reproduce easily. So if you are having a hard time getting pregnant and conceiving, it means that there's dysfunction within those parents and they're not healthy enough to conceive a child. So the real truth of the matter, and the elephant in the room, is we need to discuss the health of two parents will create the health of children.
And that's exactly what we're talking about today. Today, we are diving into why your health before pregnancy matters and how chiropractic care can play a surprising role in this.
Yes.
So, if you are planning on getting pregnant or you're supporting someone who is, you'll want to listen to this.
Absolutely.
All right. So, my name is Rachel. I am a doula, so I'm a birth coach, and I have been with Dr. Christine supporting women through pregnancy and preconception for a couple years now. And
I have been in the holistic field for 14 years, and I've been practicing as a family chiropractor, prenatal chiropractor, and pediatric chiropractor for 8 years. And what's devastating is the longer I practice, the more fertility challenge I am seeing. And there are huge pieces of information that are missing. And this is the reason why women and men are struggling so bad with their health and their hormones. So we are here to tackle that today.
So talking about preconception health, so Dr. Saint, how long should someone spend healing and preparing their body before conception?
I'm going to say 6 months to 1 year. And I think it varies a little bit per person, because the more unhealthy you are, the more time you should spend healing your body before you get pregnant. Because remember, as a woman, yes, you are the vessel that is raising this child and growing this child, but men are 50% of the genetic material that make up this child. So to have a healthy child, you need to have healthy parents. So the more unhealthy you are, the more time you should spend healing your body so you can have a healthy pregnancy and then create a healthy child. So for most people, I think you should spend at least a year.
So what does that look like?
You should be focusing on the 5 real core essentials of health and healing for each person. Number 1 would be your mindset about health and healing. When we live in a sick society, we end up normalizing sickness. So if you think sickness and difficulty in reproducing is normal, that will become your normal. So the first step is understanding that your body was created to reproduce easily. You were created to be healthy. You were created to have great energy, happy, healthy hormones as a man and as a woman. So understanding that mindset that you were not created to be sick and to suffer through this process. Number 2, regulated nervous systems. Number 3, healthy, good nutrition, making sure you have balanced nutrients in your diet, because those are the foundations and building blocks of cells. Other things are making sure you're regularly exercising, that your body is strong enough and stable enough to carry a child, and then proper detoxification. We know that the toxicity levels in our society now are directly interfering, number 1, with your nervous system, and number 2, with your hormones. So all 5 have to be tackled. But I think the number 1 thing that's missing for most people is healthy, regulated nervous systems. And that's what leads the show of everything else. And most people have no idea that a regulated nervous system is the greatest asset of fertility, for health, and for healing. Because remember, hormones are followers. They are not leaders. They are going to follow the health of your nervous system and your metabolic health.
So let's say you and your husband decided that you guys are ready to have a baby. What's the first thing that you would do?
This is funny. I hope he gets to watch this one day. Let's go over the list of the things that we are going to tackle together as a couple to make sure our bodies are healthy, and then in turn, we create a healthy environment for children. Number 1, updated nervous system analysis, which includes updated scans, updated x-rays. So here's the cool part about technology nowadays. We can measure the health of someone's nervous system and whether or not it is in the proper state to heal, digest, rest, and reproduce. That's the parasympathetic end of the nervous system. So we can assess someone's health of the nervous system through x-rays and nervous system scans, which includes things like heart rate variability. It includes SEMG scans, updated x-rays. So me and my husband will both get updated x-rays, updated nervous system scans, and then work to correct any interference or imbalance before we conceive. Second thing is making sure both of us are weekly, we have our exercise routines down, that we have strong, healthy bodies, that our nutrition is on point. We're not eating processed foods. We're not consuming toxins. We would likely eat what's called Advanced Plan, which is a hormone balancing nutrition plan that I teach at my practice. So both of us would be eating Advanced Plan, which is a low glycemic index, low blood sugar, healthy hormone eating nutrition plan to make sure our nutrients are where they need to be, focusing on protein. And then we would walk through a detox. We would make sure that there is not any toxins that interfere with both my husband's testosterone level and then my estrogen and progesterone levels. And we would walk through all of that. I would say likely I would do a 6-month period for myself. My hormones are already regulated and balanced. Hopefully my husband's will be as well before we meet each other. I'm not marrying a sick guy. But we are going to make sure that we're at our healthiest before we conceive.
Absolutely.
And that comes through testing, likely some nutrient testing as well, just to see our vitamin mineral levels. And we would walk through a detox.
Love it. So you mentioned that both parents should be under care. So can you explain how chiropractic adjustments actually support the nervous system during this time?
Yes. So it takes 2 to tango. It takes 2 to create a healthy child. So this cannot all be on one person. Both husbands and wives need to be healthy for healthy children. And the number one thing they're missing is a regulated nervous system, which comes through chiropractic care. Like, yes, you can do breath work. Yes, you can do prayer and meditation, and that will have positive influence on your nervous system. But if your nervous system is dysregulated and imbalanced at its core, that stuff is not going to move the needle for you. You are not going to be in a parasympathetic rest, digest, heal, and reproduce state. You'll still be in a sympathetic fight or flight season and state if you are doing those things without chiropractic care. And here's the truth. It takes some time. It takes a few months for the nervous system to re-regulate. For some, it may take years because there's so much damage and interference in their nervous system for it actually to re-regulate, which is why you have to start sooner, not later. And it should be the man and the woman under regular corrective nervous system balancing chiropractic care. We're talking about things that are based on, and adjustments that are based on scans, based on x-rays, not just coming in where everybody gets the same adjustment, because that's not going to make good needle moving progress with the nervous system. It may help with some musculoskeletal conditions, but it's really not going to move the needle for your nervous system to be in a healthy place.
So what you're saying is that chiropractic care impacts things like stress, hormonal balance, and fertility for both men and women, right?
Yes.
Which is super interesting because a lot of people don't think about dads needing care too. So what are some ways that dad's health can affect conception or even the baby's health?
I love to talk about this because I think in the fertility space and in the infertility space, the weight is often put on the woman because she has to carry the child. But the reality is that men's genetic material determine things like whether or not you have nausea in your pregnancy. So if you are extremely nauseous in the beginning of your pregnancy, that means that the male sperm quality was not as high as it should have been, and it causes nausea in the beginning of pregnancy. The health of the placenta is also contributed from male genetic material. And you have to understand that both nervous systems of mom and dad will imprint on that child. So if you have a dysregulated partner, you will have a dysregulated nervous system of the baby, and that will turn into things like behavior issues, colic, reflux, temperature regulation issues, dystocia in labor, which is a slowed labor, increased likelihood for C-section. So it takes both healthy parents to create a healthy child.
Absolutely. So where do we go from here? Uh, what would be some next steps?
Always nervous system scans and x-rays
Yep.
for both parents, because this will determine your hormonal health. So uterine blood flow and is controlled by the nervous system. The position of the uterus is also controlled by the nervous system. So you want to make sure that both pelvises and upper neck alignment for both partners are in their correct balance. So for a woman, the position of their hips and pelvis, the uterus is a muscle, so it will rotate. If your pelvis is out of alignment, it will turn and twist. And this gives women really painful cycles. It also will slow down labor.
Yep.
And then it will contribute to the baby potentially being in a malposition. And that will disrupt the labor process. It also, if you don't have good upper neck alignment and good parasympathetic activity as a woman, it will mess up your estrogen levels, your progesterone levels, and your blood flow to your uterus. In men, it will mess up their testosterone levels. So if you are dysregulated in your nervous system as a male, it'll mess with your testosterone levels. So you have to start there. Both parents have to have in alignment spines, regulated nervous system consistently, and parasympathetic balance.
Yeah. So you've mentioned that you've been doing this for quite some time, and I'm sure you've seen a lot of women who have been struggling through fertility issues, who have come to you and said, "Can you help me?"
Mm-hmm.
Is there a story that you have in mind that you've been thinking about of someone who came in and saw you, got nervous system regulating adjustments, and was able to get pregnant naturally?
Yes. So we work with a lot of women on regulating their nervous systems, their hormones, and really their body. Like the ultimate goal is not just pregnancy, it's a healthy mom and dad. Because ultimately, if you heal your body and you're healthy, that changes the trajectory of the rest of your life. And it also changes the trajectory of your parenting.
Yes.
And unfortunately, most women and men are extremely sick. They're not eating the right way. They have dysregulated nervous systems, and that will interfere with fertility. So we've seen, of the 8 years that I have been adjusting women, most women have come in and their cycles have been dysregulated. Even if they're not trying to get pregnant, they're painful, they're heavy bleeding. Every single woman that I have seen get nervous system based chiropractic care that's corrective in nature, their cycle has improved.
Yeah.
Every single one of them. So the great part about being in a holistic clinic focused on healing is we get to see all these miracle stories of, number one, women and men healing, and then raising healthy families. So I have one person that comes to mind that was just struggling for months and for years, her and her partner, of having a baby. And she came into the clinic. She had tried lots of other things. Sometimes patients come in and they've already tried IVF. They've already tried alternative methodologies of getting pregnant. And if you can't get pregnant, there's an interference there. And what we know in chiropractic is when we remove interference, bodies heal and then they reproduce easily. So we got updated x-rays on her, updated scans, updated her nutrition. So she did nutrition changes. She did corrective chiropractic care. And then within 6 months later, she was pregnant.
Yep.
And she had a healthy, stable pregnancy, healthy delivery, and healthy child, and the reason why we're so excited about that is because that's so rare to find. The normal has become sick parents, sick kids, fertility treatments, IVF, and really manipulating and forcing the body to get pregnant. And we should be focusing more on healing the body so it's a healthy environment for pregnancy, rather than taking a body that has been refused to get pregnant. This body has refused to get pregnant.
Right.
And then manipulating and placing a baby in it. You're raising that baby and growing that baby in an environment where it didn't want to get pregnant to begin with. So the focus shouldn't be the pregnancy. The focus should be healing. So then pregnancy happens. Health. So then pregnancy happens. And when you focus on that, you do get lots of healthy babies and lots of healthy parents.
It is the best part of this job, is seeing all of the miracles. But my favorite ones have definitely been crying with patients when they bring in their positive pregnancy tests, because they were trying for so long and did all the things that we told them to do, taking care of their nervous system, applying those essentials, those 5 essentials, And it really is amazing. So
Yes.
we have our key takeaways, right? So first step is nervous system regulation. If you are not getting corrective adjustments, you or your partner, we just learned that it is so important for both partners to be getting adjusted and taking care of their nervous system. So getting your nervous system checked first, and remembering that like it's not just the women who is, it really does take two. Like you were saying, every once in a while we'll see someone who's really struggling at the beginning of their pregnancy, and I'm like, oh, your husband was not getting chiropractic care.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah. We see that as well. And I would say like men and women lead together, but men, like you're called to lead your families. And that also means leading yourself.
Amen.
Leading yourself and having self-discipline for you to be healthy, and not just putting your conception journey on your wife. Like it's you two together that is going to raise that child. It's you two together that are going to be healthy enough to produce this healthy child. So really the call to action is to take responsibility for your health, men and women. Generally, we see a lot more women come in and they're concerned with this, but truly a lot of fertility issues and hormonal issues are coming from men.
Yes.
So remember, it is both of you guys doing this together, and it will change the trajectory of your life, your parenting, those early stages in parenting where you're not getting as much sleep because baby is up. Like you need to be healthy and whole to get through that time period at your absolute best. And you were created for it, right? So at the end of the day, you were created to produce healthy children, but your bodies have to be healthy first. And it's through the 5 essentials: good mindset about this, corrective nervous system based chiropractic care, good healthy nutrition, detoxing your body, not putting toxins or interference in your body, making sure you're exercising regularly so your body is strong. We were meant to move, and that can make all the difference in your health and your life and your pregnancy. It's all 5 you should be focusing on for at least 6 months to a year, depending on your current health status. And I will mention one last thing. Even before we see a lot of couples come in and they're not ready to get pregnant, but they've been told because they're so sick, they will have trouble with future conception. Like there has been so many lies and curses put on young men and women because they go to their doctor and their doctors are telling them, well, you're going to have a problem getting pregnant. You're going to have a problem with this.
Good luck.
Good luck. You'll need IVF because you're so sick. Like we rebuke those lies. You were created to be healthy, but there are some action steps and responsibility that comes with that.
Absolutely.
And I think my favorite stories also are the men and women we see prior to. They're not trying to get pregnant. They just want to get healthy. They come into the office, they do the 5 essentials, they get corrective chiropractic care. And then when they start trying, it's easy. It's easy. They get pregnant right away, and we get to rewrite that story that's been casted over them, that they wouldn't be able to be parents, or they would need medical intervention or manipulation to be parents. Those are some of my favorite stories too, where they're like,
they never struggled.
They never struggled. We never even knew that they were going to start trying because we've been working on health this entire time. They decide they're ready, and then we get to see the positive pregnancy tests of a couple and a family that were told that they wouldn't be able to have children, or definitely would have difficulty, or they watch the rest of their family have difficulty, and they don't, because they live a totally different life. They're in alignment with health and healing, which makes things so much healthier, so much happier, better marriage, better kids, better rest of your life.
Yeah, it's so good. So if you are someone who struggles, maybe you've just been feeling discouraged, I hope that this is encouraging to you to know that there are absolutely next steps that you can take, and that you can have hope, and there should be hope, because your body was designed to do this. But like Dr. Christine said, you need to be in a healthy place first, both you and your partner. So thanks for tuning in. This has been so fun. Come back next time. We're going to be talking about the beginning of pregnancy and how important it is to take care of your nervous system during that season of pregnancy.
Yes.
All right. We're out.
Thanks, guys.